So there's something that a lot of people don't know about me that I think is worth mentioning. When I was a little boy, I was in a war, and it was pretty crazy. And that war was in space. Now, for some people, it would be important for me to clarify one little small detail that I think is meaningless. It's pointless, but to some people, it matters. When I say I was in a war in space, what I mean is that I was in Star Wars, the movie. It's the same thing. But to some people it matters that you make these kinds of clarifications, so fine. I was in Star Wars, the movie, and I met a lot of interesting people. It was exciting, it was thrilling, it was just so much going on. And I just can't say enough good things about it. And at this point, I should probably clarify again, not that it matters because it's the same thing, but when I say I was in Star Wars the movie, I mean I was in Star Wars the movie, the ride at Disneyland. And wow, what an experience that was. So basically I was in a war in space. Well, you were on an amusement park ride. What's the difference? So, how does that set with you? How do you feel about that? The reason I tell you this nonsense is because there are times when I thought I was on a meaningful adventure, and I wasn't. And right now it seems like a lot of people are talking about the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, using a lot of his language. I wanted to give you some guides that I think are important to look at, to know whether or not you are on a hero's journey or whether or not you are on a hero's journey, the ride. Now these little guides, they're not necessarily conclusive. They're just things to look out for. And if you've got enough of these elements in your experience, you might want to reconsider the path that you're on. Are you on a hero's journey or are you on a hero's journey, the ride? Sponsored by Verizon. Number one, you've planned it for months in advance and you know exactly when you're going to go and when it's going to start and where it's going to start. Number two, you know how long it's going to last. You've got a predetermined amount of time for this. Number three, you're going with a group of friends and they've all agreed to go. Number four, you're looking for ways to make it more interesting by either sneaking in or taking some beer with you or something like that, because deep down it's not interesting enough as it is. Number five, you have to wait in line to have the experience because so many people want to do it and are willing to. Number six, kind of like number five, you're the 1,780,000th person to check in at that location on social media. Number seven, was that number seven or was that number eight? Next point, you've got a guide that knows exactly what's going to happen and can tell you all about it. Next point, you have your shoulder harnesses and lap belt on at all times. Next point, everybody that starts the journey finishes it. Next, when it's over, you take pictures and high-five your friends. Next thing to consider, you know exactly how much it's going to cost. Next, you know that you're never in any real danger. One of the things about my experiences is that whether or not I have been in danger, I believed that I was. Sometimes what's on the other side of our fears is not substantial, but the willingness to face them is difficult because we genuinely believe there's something dangerous on the other side. Next, after you slay the dragon, you kick the dead body. You don't have honor or respect for the victory. or your opponent, your enemy. Next, the journey made you more prideful instead of more humble. Next point, you feel the need to embellish a little bit, to add a couple of details. Maybe even to add details about how you felt, about how it was so exciting, or it was so scary, or it was so thrilling. Because deep down, it doesn't meet the needs that you want it to, and it doesn't get the reaction from other people that you want to get. Next point, everyone who hears about what you're doing understands it, supports it, and celebrates it. That's a really bad sign. And one final point. During the journey, you never feel alone. Now, after hearing all of that, if you figured out that you happen to be in an amusement park and not in the wilderness, that you're on a playground and not a battlefield, this is actually better news than it seems. Because there's a lot of reasons why you might have found yourself where you're at right now, and why you're experiencing a simulation of something instead of the real thing. No matter why it is that you found yourself there, chances are you're looking for an adventure. Chances are it means that your soul wants something meaningful, wants experience, wants to do what you're here to do. This could very easily just be a stepping stone to take you in the right direction.